Hi guys, Acesup here. The first Sunday, well, Monday morning for me, 5 AM Monday morning here, but the first Sunday of the week is upon us. And I did win a satellite. I played a couple of these $39. Did brick a couple, but managed to get us into the Sunday millions. So that's good. Here it is here, and we are just around about the start stack. Hasn't been running long. Now, a few updates. Played a few satellites, and actually didn't do very well in the satellites today, but most of them were only $11 sort of type things, although there were a couple of 39s, as I just pointed out. We've got a pretty good stack. We had more, but we lost a flip before. We're 15 or 45 in this. It's 6,000 up top. It's a $55 knockout. We've got pretty big stacks in a couple of small tourneys. This one up here we're coming 5 of 23, but it's only 1,400 for first. And this one here, I might bring this in actually. Should I bring this in? Yeah, I'm going to put it over there for sure. This one here, we've got a stack where we're 1 of 18, so that's only 700 for first though. But I've been a little bit careful today. I haven't gone too crazy. I am playing this little satellite here, $3.30. Triple shootout. Yep. Hang on. It's I'm running stack and tile, as you can see, so that just swapped out. There it is there. So they are swapping out and jumping all around the place. But yeah, triple turbos. You got to be careful. They can get expensive because triple turbo, obviously the blinds go up really quickly, and you can spend a ton in the rebuy period if you're not careful. But I mean, at the same time, this is only $3.30, so just trying to manage the bankroll here, get some value. We have had our second shot of the week here. Of course, it's the big 109 in the middle top, and it's what can I say? It's a Sunday. And it is 47,000 for first, so we're going to have a crack at that. I do have a lot of action going, but at the same time, 4, 5, 6. I think I'm going to fold there. It's kind of close. 4, 5, 6. He's only M4, but I think if I was in the big blind, the top right there, I would actually probably call if I was in the big blind. I think, but I am going to fold it. He's pretty loose, that player. That's why, and. King Jack suited does pretty well against an M4 jam range. He can even have some hands that he might be pushing dominated. This Sunday Storm here, Micro Millions, that is almost 41,000 players. Registration still open and climbing, just incredible. And that's 34,000-ish for first as well, so we wouldn't mind that. And got this. I haven't been paying too much attention to it, to be honest, but it's still early. 86 of 616. It's an $11 one rebuy one add-on, but it's got 32,000 in the pool. So that's pretty sweet. I think I will 3-bet default here. Well, I'll tell a lie. I'm not sure yet. I think I'm going to fold the 4-6 there. I was thinking about a 3-bet, but I just feel it's just slightly too marginal, that hand. This guy has gone for the 4-bet, which gives us a pretty tough decision here because he's aggressive, and I don't think he likes getting pushed around, this player. 4-bet plus after raising a 0 though, squeezing is low. fold to 4-bet after 3-bet. He is in position to. It's pretty close, this one. I feel like he's probably bluffing quite a lot here. He gets pretty good leverage from his stack. But at the same time, I don't think I want to jam and risk 22,000 to win 10, and I don't want to re-click and put in just a massive chunk of my stack at the same time. So I think I will fold. I think if I was a little bit stronger, I probably would flat with that depth with, you know, small pairs and ace tens and stuff like that, king queen, king jacks. But if I did happen to 3-bet there, a hand like sixes or fives, I think I might actually jam it there as a semi bluff. A little bit dangerous for the aces here, so I'm just going to caress this one. We're very deep, and well, I mean, I won't say we can't get value from worse, because there's always a lot of fish in this tournament. But this is the situation we want to avoid, where you know, this guy's check raised us. He's made a large check raise. It's a pretty dangerous board. He's in the big blind. I think a lot of the time here he's going to have jack queen. He could have pocket sixes. He could even, I guess, have jacks and just a 3x versus early, just flat. I don't think... We do have the backdoor diamonds. I could actually have checked this flop at this depth. I don't really think there's too much point in calling here, because I don't think he's bluffing. And I don't think we are ever ahead of his check raising range. We have the ace blockers. So unless he's got 9, 10 or king 10 of diamonds, which still has pretty good equity, he can't have the nut flush draw, obviously, but he also is less likely to have ace queen. Some players would overplay ace queen here and think that it needs protection, a fish, obviously. And so I'm just going to fold, I think. It's just kind of annoying, but, you know, we only lose a few, well, a couple hundred chips. So, not too devastating at all. And 1823, I think I will go ahead and 3-bet up here. This guy's been folding to 3-bets. We get a lot of leverage. He will jam us, obviously, some percentage of the time, since it kind of looks like we're re-stealing. But I think at the same time it's probably profitable. And he did go for the jam. I think players these days really do go for that second pivot jam when they get 3-bet when they're in a re-steal. Just going a bit small here on the bottom left. The reason why I'm doing that is I just want to leave us enough room to fire 3 barrels against that sort of stack size that he has. And I think I will flat this guy here. And he is raised. So I think I'm just going to shove. It's not great, but I think he's bluffing a lot of the time. And some of the time he might be raising like pocket fours, which we have great equity against. Other times he could have smaller draws, but of course sometimes he could have a bigger draw too. But and he did fast play the, you know, the a7. So I think fast playing in that instance is probably a mistake, because you know, we would barrel on lots of high cards. So you know, we just happen to have one of the hands that he's going to get action with. You know, I guess the overpairs and the big flush draws as well. First top and second nut flush draw is probably the hand. So you know, it's just kind of is what it is. I guess, you know, sometimes we can call and assess turn, but I just think prefer probably that once he raises the SPR is pretty huge. So not quite sure what this guy has, but I hope it's not pocket queens. Looks like he's got jacks, I guess. I guess I could have maybe have well, I don't know, I think it's I guess we could have checked back. That's what I was thinking. And pretty easy jam top right. And run into the nuts. So I was going to say, it looks like a strong 3-bet, but I just don't think we can. I just don't think we can fold at that depth. Yeah, I mean, we'd have to be pretty psychic, I think, to be able to fold there. Interesting that top left he just flatted there. Our 3-bet, I think, looked very strong. So we're just going to continue to tell the story. I think it looks strong because the big blind's kind of short. He gets pretty good leverage here with a check raise. It'd be a nice play. Interesting to just call. He might have 8s or 9s here, I think, a lot of the time. He could, I guess, have Jack Queen suited, King Jack, or something like that. It's pretty close. I don't know if he's going to fold. So I think I'm just going to check and try and hit here. We could fire the second barrel, but he's almost all in. I don't know if we shove if he's quite ready to fold. Yeah. Pretty unlikely he has anything worse, obviously. Because we have the nut flush draw blocker as well. I think we'll just raise and call here if he jams. That's a pretty sad end to that 20 on the top right, obviously. You know, that 10's hand is just... Yeah, I mean, at that stack depth, the way the sort of games are playing and the small 3-bet. Let me just see. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we can. I just don't think we can fold. I mean, we've raised cutoff. We've got a very strong hand, and we have a pretty strong hand here too. I'm just going to shove in here. There's not really too much else to do there. I suspect we'll get one caller. I Love You has probably got kings or queens. But the other guy can probably make it pretty easy for... Wow, 9s. That's very loose. And he went for the 4-bet too. It was a pretty easy fold pre-flop, obviously, for him. You know, we raised UTG and button 3-bet looked pretty strong. And he committed with the 9s, so it's pretty ugly. But you know, that's the weekend in a nutshell, as they say. Yeah, I'm still thinking about the 10s, guys. I just don't think we can. We've still got the table open. I mean, his stats say he's been 3-betting a lot too, so wow, I mean 16%. Yeah, I mean, it's impossible to escape, I think. He's been 3-betting a ton. Yeah. I don't think we can have any regrets there. 12, 3, 15, M4. Not quite, probably. Yeah, it's kind of annoying, obviously. I think I'll just check here. I mean, these guys are both called. I think a heads up I would probably bet, because the board's not too bad. Yeah, the board's not too bad. I think we can probably fold out a lot of hands with 1 or 2 bets. But with 2 players behind, it's probably just a little bit risky. Let's get the Sunday Million back in there, eh? And we close that now. A tragic finish. And And let's bring in the triple turbo, why not? Bit of carnage. Bring that in for a bit of carnage. We'll definitely be getting this in the big 109 if he... Just going to try and bet an amount that makes it a little bit awkward for him to raise here. I guess he still can do like 12 or 13 actually, and represent a pretty polarized range at king or nothing. So it's kind of close. I would raise if I was him. I would raise to probably 1200. I just misclicked on the bottom. I just misclicked on the bottom right, and re-minied. And actually now I'm going to have to follow through, and I think I'm going to follow through up here too. Actually, that table's 888 stealing focus a lot here. Making it a little bit hard to work with. Yeah, it's I probably would have folded pre with the queen 8, even to a min, I guess. Top middle, I think we're done with it now. I was trying to fold out a6, 6, 7, 6, 8, hands like that. I think he's going to defend really wide, but I think I'm just going to give it up now. We do still have, what do we have? Only a gut shot, yeah. Bottom right is, well, I mean, you know, sometimes these mistakes happen, so. It's kind of interesting because he could actually have king queen here, or he could have ace 8 or ace 9. Just thinking if we can bet here. I don't want to spew any more chips now I've made the misclick. King queen and ace 8 ace 9 might would they bet turn? I'm not sure. They might fold flop actually. Good shots. Yeah, I think it's okay just to give up. He's probably got king 10, 10 queen, maybe something like that. He had 6-10. I don't think he's... Well, I mean, 3 barrels he's going to fold, I guess, but I would think, not 100% sure. Yeah, it's a pity about that top middle table. I think he had us. It would have been pretty sick if he didn't. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. It's slightly profitable here. I think I will take it though. And just give that one up. The 2-9 suited 5-way and we close the action. So I went for it. Got a bit lucky there, got a few chips back in the bottom left. And we can jam that. It's a pretty easy jam. And top left, obviously, we're just short. We didn't get a good hand to jam with, so sometimes that happens in these triple turbos. And so I will just we got a walk. Do we get a walk? How does that happen? Probably could have checked the ace king. How did we get a walk there? Incredible. I'm gonna have to check this. It's a little bit risky again. I think I can fold the jack 3 there. It's a little bit conservative down here in this table, but I'm going to fold the ace king there. Big bet and a call, a pretty fast call too. So I feel like we're probably behind, and we could even be drawing very thin, just a few outs. And as it was, we were ahead. How does that happen? So we got the flush draw and the other flush draw, and that's why he snapped, I think, because they're both flushing. So we would have had to have dodged a lot of bullets, but we would have. Any spade, any 9, any 10, any diamond. I think normally we're behind there. I'd like to think. Otherwise it's obviously it's an easy jam top left. Otherwise it's a pretty big mistake, obviously, but I just I don't think we can call there with that action. I mean, these players are bad, but for them to both have draws like that, I don't think it's going to happen too often. And is that a hold? Yeah, I think I'm just going to call down in the middle here. And I think I'm going to bet the river here. If he's really, really sick, he could try something, but I think most of the time he's just going to call. That's a good pot. Because of the flush presence of the flush draw. Hey, yeah, top left. Couldn't win that one. Yeah, I guess we're gonna fold there. So it's a good pot, obviously, in the Sunday Million. So it's a real fine balance. It's kind of a very fine balance in the Sunday Million between going for value early and not jeopardizing yourself, putting yourself in difficult spots just because of depth of stack. Really allows for a lot of play. You can find really good spots. There's a lot of weak players, so you don't always want to push the envelope too much, as they say. Really close there between all options in the bottom right. I was very close to squeezing. I was very close to calling. This guy here's been a little bit tight, Joe Frenzy. And so, yeah, I mean, I was just a little worried that, you know, he had a hand that he would call the squeeze with and then make things a bit tricky for us post, because he's been kind of tight and his fold to 3-bet is 0. We don't have many stats on him, but I think we can maybe find a better spot, but the original opener seems like he's pretty loose, so that's a plus. This guy's been pretty aggressive. I think calling here, 4-betting is okay, I think. But I think calling and just, we're very deep, leaving in a lot of hands that we dominate. is fine. Unfortunately, sometimes we will flop pretty badly like this. And he'll be betting us off of our hand with something like ace 10. But I think that it's probably okay to go down this road. But I don't say that with a large degree of certainty. We could take the aggressive path and 4-bet pre and then fire some barrels. Top right, you know, he's early. It's a little bit risky, but I was planning on getting this one in. Here's King Queen a lot here, I think. Jack Queen suited as well. And the SPR is so huge now, I think he gets it in. Shouldn't really have 9-10. That would be pretty gross. He could have Jack Queen, I guess. Jacks he would have got in, I think. I think it's King Queen a lot. It could be even like 7s or something, or even something fishier. But I mean, we're just... wow, it was something particularly fishy, wasn't it, really? Yeah, I mean, looks very squeezy, this bottom middle. Thug Money, he's very aggressive, good player. We could always go to like something like 1892, but I just don't think it's necessary at this stage. And you notice that this guy's called, even though he's kind of short, so he looks like just a big fish. Probably should put a note here if we can. I'm just going to have to... it's kind of one of the annoying things about stack and tile is the way I've got it set up. I have to stop to put a note on these guys. And this is the guy I want to note. Russian, of course. Call 3-bet out. Oops. Call 3-bet out of position. The challenges of writing a note. It's a challenge. Tables popping up everywhere. Oh my god. Out of position with ace 8. What was he doing? I'll just write not deep. And while it's not, you know, completely terrible, it's pretty bad.